All right, I have the controller, Connor Matthews, on the show now, who's going to be facing Christopher Piriz on March the 4th at CES 66. Connor, how are you?
Doing great, man.
It's good to talk to you. And as I was saying before we started here, fight's right around the corner. Be here before you know it. How's this camp been? How are you feeling?
This has been a really good camp. Really focused to this camp. I mean, so I don't know if you know hear about me, but I've had a couple fights recently fall out. So that's been kept in half. So I've kind of been going to a fight camp, and then my fight not happening, and then so I've been basically in fight camp since July. So finally nice to get a solid opponent with CES, and a full fight camp focused. I feel great. My weight's on point. Great sparring this fight camp. I feel ready to go.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you about that. I did notice that you had a couple of fights canceled. So at Cage Titans, your opponent was a no-show. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's accurate. Yeah, I actually did not just show up. We kind of had an idea the last I think I was going in on the fight was on a Saturday, and on a Thursday I heard some things going on. People messaged me saying, "Oh yeah, would you be able to fight somebody else at this weight class?" And I was like, what the hell's going on? So the guy still said he was going to show up all the way until literally I weighed in. So Friday I weighed in, got off the scale. Then I noticed at weigh-ins that there's nobody there, and I was like, what the hell? So, so they told me that he was going to come the next day. So, I still showed up to the fight, got to the fight, and, nobody actually ended up showing up for the fight, but it is what it is. So got to move on. Case Hayes took care of me with pay and stuff, so that was good. But it just sucks, because I'm trying to get accelerate my career right now, and I need the fights. So when that stuff happens, it's just another setback, and I don't really care about the money right now. I really just care about fighting. So that was pretty tough.
For sure. Yeah, I can only imagine how difficult that must have been for you. Did you hear anything from Cage Titans? Are they not going to book that guy again because he really left all you guys high and dry?
Yeah, I haven't really heard anything. I don't think they're gonna go to him. You know what I mean? I don't think they want to use him anymore. So, yeah, it's just it is what you get. You kind of you get some of these guys, if they have losing records, you know what I mean. You kind of get what you pay for. I'm trying to fight anybody. I told Cage Titans give me anybody, but I've asked some of the good guys in the league promotion to fight me, and the guys just won't fight me. So it is what it is. So we tried to get this guy to come out of, I forgot his name by now. But I think he was up in Maine, and he just ended up not showing. So it is what it is. I don't think they're going to book him again, but it is what it is.
All right. It is what it is. And the fight that you had for the Fury promotion, you withdrew from that one. So what happened there? Was it a physical issue that you were dealing with?
Yeah, so COVID was this is when the Endocrine, whatever the hell, with all that was really popping off right then. So and then so a lot of people in my COVID went through my gym. So everybody in my gym got sick with COVID. I think I was sick, and then Joe Lauzon, who's I train at his gym, he couldn't go to the fight. Jake Manini, who's my striking coach, my main striking coach, he had another fighter fighting in New York that weekend, so he had to go to that. So, I mean, those are my two most important corner people right there, and they weren't going to be able to make it to the fights. So I was like, I just didn't feel comfortable going down by myself. Also, my teammate, Carlos Lozoya, he was supposed to fight down there for I think it was a co-main event, and he got injured. So, I didn't have anybody. So we were going to kind of piggyback each other's corners, and he was going to be able to go down. So I just ended up being with nobody. So I was like, I ended up pulling on that one.
Yeah, that's too bad. Well, you have a fight now, March 4th, CES 66. I do want to talk a little bit more about, obviously, your training camp, Joe Lauzon's, and you mentioned him. So he's got a pretty good fight around the corner with a guy named Donald Cerrone. People may have heard of him. How do you like that fight? Just from your perspective, how does that stylistically work for Joe?
I think it's one of the best stylistic fights Joe can get at this point in time. Just saying, first of all, they're both a little bit older. No offense to Joe, but they're both, a little bit older later on in their career for sure. I think Joe is everything Donald Cerrone isn't. You know what I mean? Joe, I mean, Donald's a pretty good grappler, but I think Joe is going to be a way better wrestler, MMA style grappler to be able to get into Donald's face. Donald Cerrone has really good kicks, but you need to be able to get those kicks off. And what Joe does really, really well is he's a forward pressure fighter, and he kind of brings it to him. So I think that's a good matchup for Joe in that in that spot. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that. They're both, you know, legends. I'm a big Donald Cerrone fan as well. So, you know, it's kind of sucks seeing them fight each other, but I mean, you know, those guys don't care. They're in there to have a good time, and you put on a show for the fans. So I'm really excited for that fight. Hopefully I get to help out Joe and get ready for that fight.
Yeah, no doubt. That's UFC 274. I believe that's in early May. How is he
Yep.
looking in camp? I'm sure he's right in the middle of things right now.
Yeah, he's looking great. You know, it's so funny. It's like for Joey, because he's been running his gym, so he hasn't really obviously been in a fight camp in a while. I mean, when I first moved home from the military, he was like fighting for UFC Boston, so he was really amped up. And then after that, he's kind of been like, you know, especially as you've been doing this for so long, you can't be in fight camp all the time. So he's kind of been he kind of sat back. But as soon as he found out he got that Donald Cerrone fight, it's like a switch flipped, and he's just been going hard. So his roles just got way harder. He's just way more competitive in the gym. So he's looking great. You know, say he's just getting ready right now. He says I think they just pushed it back a little bit longer. So you know, he's still got plenty of time to get ready. So he's looking great.
Awesome. Tell me about your training partners. Who are the main guys that you're primarily working with?
My main training partner. So right now I've been working sparring where I've been using John Duma. He's been great. He fought Bellator as well. Got great hands, great boxing, great wrestler. So he's been helping me out a lot with sparring. Chris Montino, sparring with him a lot. So Saturdays at Lauzon MMA, I mean, we got a lot of fighters down there. Like you name them, like and anywhere in the local South Coast Mass and or even Rhode Island, all the Triforce guys, they come up. So we're always getting getting different looks from guys. Gym's always packed. But yeah, those are my two. I'm Carlos Lozoya, as I mentioned. He's a smaller guy. He's a 35er, 25er, but he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Really, really, really good wrestler. Also, I go up to Hard Knocks and Boston Dedham, and Tom Pags is there. Tom Pags is a great fighter. Kyle Bachniak goes up there. So I'm getting work from a lot of good guys in the local area. You know, guys who are in the UFC, came back from the UFC. So yeah, it's been real good.
Tell me what that cut is like for you to get to 145. What do you typically walk around at?
So right now I walk around, like my average weight is 166. Like, I don't know why, mostly if I'm like not dieting, whatever, that's the weight that I step on the scale. So as soon as I clean up my diet, like right now, you know, I'm 2 weeks out basically. I start getting down to like 161, and then like so this next week I'll be dieting. Hopefully by next week I'll be under one and then 150s. And then I diet down to like 153, and I do like a 7-pound water cut from there. I had never missed weight. It's never really had a problem with my weight cuts. It's always been pretty easy for me.
Okay, that's good to hear. I did want to ask you too about your last fight. That was a round 1 RNC win over Jay Ellis. And, you know,
Yeah.
So when I think about Jay Ellis, like I feel like he doesn't get enough respect, you know, because people look at his record and just be like, oh my God, this guy's trash. But I mean, when you look at him, he's physically impressive. He's got muscles on top of muscles. He's doing backflips, getting in the cage, right? So that to me, I think for someone in your shoes that is undefeated, trying to get to that next level, there's got to be kind of like a tricky fight, almost like mentally too, right? Like run me through your emotions getting ready to step in there with the guy that you're supposed to beat. And if you were to lose, you know, that'd be a huge loss.
100%. I was so nervous for that fight just because like exactly what you said. Like you got to beat this guy, all right. And then you go to the weigh-ins, and I'm a 45er, so he's already a 55er, so he's already bigger. And I underestimated his strength for sure because I got caught in his guard. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's a lot stronger than what I expected him to be when I was in his guard. But yeah, I mean, it sucks when you know. And I'm so happy Jay Ellis took the fight, and that was another one of those cases where a guy backed out last second. So Jay Ellis hopped up and you know showed up, and especially when you sell a whole bunch of tickets, you're just gracious that somebody will show up and fight you there, and he did. So yeah, I mean I was really I was a little bit nervous for that one because he's like you can't mess this up, and it takes one punch, these small little gloves on, anything can happen, and I knew that going into it. So you know I caught him early, he fell into his guard, and he was, like I said, he's way stronger than what I expected to be in his guard. So Jay Ellis is like, dude, don't sleep on Jay Ellis. He's gotten a couple of people recently, you know what I mean? So he still has the ability to win a fight in an MMA fight, and the guy's got more experience than anybody. So like just doing the walk to a cage for somebody like, you know, you fight once every 3 months or once every 4 months, like, you know, you don't get used to that really. Somebody's fighting every single weekend. That means this guy's just like used to doing that walk to the cage. he can't be as nervous. You know what I mean? He's not, his nervousness is not firing like mine is. So it's like he's got to be calm and relaxed in there. So it's definitely an experience, but lucky. I'm happy I got the win.
Yeah, for sure, man. I can only imagine. Now you're 4-0 now as a pro. Where do you feel like you're at in your career? If you get this win on March the 4th, obviously you'll be 5-0. You know, you're seeing guys get contender series shots right around that record a lot of times. So like, where do you feel like you're at? And tell me your goals here moving forward.
So my goal is to get to the UFC, obviously, but yeah, 4-0. Like, so like, when I first came back from the military, like it was kind of good. Like the pandemic was good in ways because I missed 6 years of like training hard when I was in the military. I couldn't really train the way I do now. So it kind of gave me a little bit of time to build my skill level and get to the places where I need to be. But like right now, I feel like I'm where I need to be. I feel sharp. I feel like physically, mentally, I'm ready to go. So I'm hoping I get like 1 or 2 more fights, you know, 5, 6-0. And then I'm ready for my shot in the UFC. So I'm hoping either contender series this summer or I get a short notice fight and, you know, fill in a slot. Like I'm always ready to go for a fight as well. Like, even though I've only had 4 fights since I got out of the military the last 3 years, because I've been ready to fight this entire time. I'm not one of those people that really like after my fight, just let myself get fat or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm focused and I'm ready to go. So I'm hopefully, you know, I get another fast turnaround after this fight and get a couple more. I would like to get 2 by the end of the summer.
All right. And your opponent, Christopher Piriz, he's 6-7. So this is another guy where you got to be a massive favorite, right? And I imagine, you know, like you said, you know, anything can happen with these 4-ounce little gloves in there. So do you feel the pressure with this one to go in there to not just win, but to win impressively and get a finish?
Yeah, there's always, if you're not nervous, you don't feel the pressure, you're not ready for the fight is what I think. But he's a I feel like he's somebody that I don't expect him to go away easily. You know, if you look a lot of his fights, they go to unanimous decision or they go split decisions. They go he's a tough kid. He doesn't get submitted easy. So I expect him to fight to the end. I don't expect this to be one of those guys that I go in there and I finish in, you know, the first minute. I mean, if that happens, great, but I prepared for a 5-round fight. So that's what I'm ready for. You know what I mean? And I want that experience, to be honest. I don't get pleasure from beating guys and like it's like anticlimactic to me. Like I go to a fight, put a fight camp in, get ready to go to war, and then I beat a guy in like 20 seconds. Like I want to show the fans, I want to show the UFC, I want to show everybody my abilities. And I also, you know, I want to see where I'm at, like mentally. If I'm in a fight, I want to see a back and forth battle. So I'm hoping, you know, this guy can, you know, stay in there with me and give me something to work for.
Have you sold a lot of tickets? You can have a lot of support there come fight night?
I have. Yeah, I'm already out of my tickets. Actually, I got to talk to CES and grab some more because I'm already out of my. I sold 80 tickets so far, which is all right for me. But like I usually can sell a little bit more than that. I usually sell like 200 tickets, 200 plus. So yeah, still some good amount of tickets.
I'll definitely be watching on UFC Fight Pass. Again, Connor Matthews meets Christopher Piriz, March 4th, CES 66. Really fun time interviewing you for the first time, my man. Before I let you go, I want to give you the floor. Tell people where to follow you on social media. And if you have anyone to thank, any sponsors, the floor is yours.
Absolutely. Yeah. So follow me at The Controller MMA on Instagram. That's my main platform. I'm Controller MMA on Twitter. Don't really use that too much, but because a couple of shout outs is Operation Vet Now. I got this hat on right here. It's a nonprofit foundation for veterans, you know, with struggling PTSD. If you guys are struggling, please reach out to them. We're trying to, you know, my whole thing is, you know, try to help veterans struggling with PTSD by using jiu-jitsu. I think it's the best thing for veterans is to get out there and, you know, train and just get into the community of the martial arts community. I know it helped me when I came back from Afghanistan. And I feel like it would help a lot of people. Kill Combat, my buddy Sean Lally. He's also a former Ranger. We Go Home, another sponsor that is another veteran company that's been sponsoring, helping me out for this fight camp. They've been a huge help. So yeah, there's a couple sponsors that have been huge for me, and Drink Hoist, good sponsor as well. So appreciate all those people supporting me, and I can't wait, you know, for March 4th, put on a show for everybody, and this is gonna be a good fight. I promise.